corrosion is like eating it, you know.
These are outer wheel wells. This is another piece that we already had here. But what we could do is use this as a template, being that over here on this side, it was already cut. The fact that it was already cut off and used off another car, but they never welded it up, so we don't have a true shape of it once we put the quarter panel on. Well, now that we have a piece, original piece, we could use that and do it pretty much what they did, use it off another car, but we're gonna make it right. You won't see this two-piece welded, tack welded. It'll just be all flow one piece and it'll fit perfect to the new quarter. This is a trunk floor. This piece from this line down is considered a trunk floor drop down, because it's the trunk floor and it drops down to meet the bottom of the quarter panel. Well, obviously you can see this is rusted out. Well, we may have a new one of these, original one off of a car that we have, that if it's still good, we can, you know, part it out and replace it here. So we're gonna get you right. We're gonna get you done quick too. Put the quarters on, you know, get it painted, replace the body bushes, you know, and get them up out of here. We don't necessarily have to turn it sideways, but we have to do the quarters and get, you know, all of the corrosion out. And this is another piece that's gonna kill 6 birds in one stone, because now the corrosion that was here, the corrosion that was here, you can see Raed now done cleaned most of it off. He got all of the old metal off and it's pretty much stripped. Now it got to be prepped and all of that, but it's still some areas in there that has a lot of surface rust on it that got to be cleaned up. So
I have to grind this and put in your piece and weld it.
See, that's another thing, guys, of the importance of why we, like, at this point, like, we're gonna almost require, for us to do a paint job, we're gonna require the customer to strip it to the metal. So, you know, certain things don't necessarily come back to bite us in the future. Because once you strip it all, it's gonna expose all of this. And it's gonna show you how bad it is. But this is why cars come to VTSV Auto, because they wanna make sure that everything is addressed, things that most people will overlook. You know, if you could just see the bad patch jobs, you could see the metal on top of old rust that was in there. Like, this is a support beam that's supposed to be welded to that wheel well. It's not even connected. So, work to be done, guys, but we built for the task. VTSV Auto, let's go.
Too bad. I cleaned yesterday. There's like a little bit rot out here, so I'm gonna weld it. I'm gonna fix it. But the reason why we use this, because it has the original shape. That's the original shape, you know. But I'm gonna fabricate this, you know, this area right here. I mean, this piece right here, and the piece right there, because this one is not complete. It's not complete, so you know, I mean, the bottom of this piece was like rotted out. So I'm gonna, they're right there. So I'm gonna build like 2 new ones. But the top piece was okay. Wasn't bad. It has like the, you know, the original shape. Everything is the original shape. So I'm gonna reuse this and build a new one on the bottom.
A lot of the stuff we noticed on this car too, they did a lot of like fiberglass work. Fiberglass, for you guys that know, that's a quick trick, just like Bondo. If you can sand it, you know, it's a good foundation. You can put a little skim of Bondo on top of it, sand it down, and to give you the contour that you're looking for. But it's you know, it's a recipe for disaster, number one, because it leaves the original cancer, the rust that's inside of there, and it preserves the area with the fiberglass where you don't see it, to give it more time to grow even further. You know, so you're gonna be worse off by the time you get it to the shop to do it the right way. So, you know, but, you know, the good thing, once again, about doing a full quarter, you have an opportunity to see everything. Well, you can see now we got the window regulator and the glass window completely removed, to where we can start stripping off some of that surface rust. It gave him an opportunity to repair the rust panel that we had down here. You can see that welded up, protective primer on top of that. We still got a lot more polishing to do to get all that surface rust off before the etching primer. We got several pieces to make this one piece. This is a factory piece that was structured in. It had a rust part here that was repaired, and then this whole piece down here was bad. So he made a one-piece design. If you come in, you'll see the weld line on the inside, and then you can see the weld line here, you know, all the way around. That was one piece shape. It does have your access hole that's normally a drain, where you can, you know, blow it out if it's debris that gets stuck in your rocker. That's what that factory hole was there for. It normally is a plug on there. So you got it back in there asymmetrical. Obviously it's the thicker metal. We always use the thicker metal here. So it's a lot stronger than what it was before. The same patch pounder, if you guys remember, in the back, that was it had plastic here, where you can see the whole piece now is solid, you know, metal, you know, thicker than what it was. The rotted out piece down here for the trunk floor drop down pan, we actually cleaned that, patched it. We kept the top piece because that was still good, not to go extraordinary on this one. You know, not customers on a time-oriented base too. He kind of want to get it back. He had no idea this was done, so we're trying to, you know, do as much as we can and still do it the right way. But here you can see as a hole, you see my finger come through, you know, there's a little hole there. That was all fiberglass. All fiberglass Bondo that was just shoved in there. So we'll strip all of that, polish it down. Whatever needs to be replaced, we'll replace it. You know, but it's pretty much done, you know, as far as all the corrective stuff. He's doing a little finish work here. Obviously, if you remember, this brace was just dangling. So we're just gonna make a new piece welded here, give it back its support that it needs, and then we can go ahead and start working on the outer quarter, which will be the last piece, which is why you haven't seen it, because you got to get all of this done first beforehand. So,
and this piece goes right here, because this one was rotted out and they cut it, so it was like 2 or 3 pieces of metal together. So this goes right here. So I'm gonna just clean this, spray it with the weld-through primer, and weld it right there. So this is how it works. This is how it should be, right there.
Yeah, that part right there where you see the hole at, that's the mount for the trunk support. The trunk support for your hinges mount to the wheel wells on the inner wheel well. Well, that whole support is rotted out, and that's where you see the breakthrough. So we'll clean that up, you know, get a patch in there, seal it with it, give it the strength again. Obviously, we'll use a thicker metal. And the good thing about this piece that we used, that was a factory piece, it has a factory contour. You know, we didn't have that contour based off of the piece that they had on there, because they didn't do it the right way like this. It's similar offensive strategy, is just done the right way with all metal instead of leaving some Bondo. And, you know, obviously it took a lot more time, you know what I'm saying, just in making and shaping and welding all of these pieces in. We probably could have had the whole, we could have had the whole quarter done. But we had to do all of the rotted out pieces. But now when it gets welded on, the new quarter goes on, you know, it's perfect. It's stronger than it was from the factory, and, you know, it's pretty much ready for a paint. We could either, if he stays this color, we could just do it outside, leave the jams, because obviously they just put the red on it. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, well, we showed you the piece inside, well, now that he tried to, you know, more Bondo fiberglass. So what they did is like what Raed just told me. Raed told me this, and give him his props. If you look at the back part of this metal, this is a patch right here. This is a metal patch here. What they did is this metal right here, they just patched metal on top of it and never took the metal off of the back side. That's what they did down here. If you look on the back, you still see the old metal. But here they just put Bondo. Didn't even do anything, you know. You have to cut all of this out, like Raed say, complete, shape a new piece that's out of new metal, weld it in, and you'll never have this problem again. Treat the back side. You didn't have access to this back side because why? They never did a full quarter on it. So you do the full quarter, now I let you do everything. It's a little more work. You know, you might add another 6 hours remaking this whole pocket, taking it off, putting a new one on, but guess what? Fresh metal, you know, everything's perfect. You never have to worry about the backside, and then everything you see with the red primer, that's protection from rust. You know, if we got access to it, he gonna sand it down and do the whole thing in etching primer. You know, so that's more protecting the metal from future rust, and then you put the quarter on. So you gotta, you know, all of this stuff, you're coming back. Even if you try to go and somebody tell you, I had you ready in 2 weeks, you're still gonna have to come back in the future to somebody, and it's gonna be a lot worse. You know, it might not just be this piece, it might be completely, you know, rotted out this whole corner by that time. So, you know, I don't wanna act like we're the best, or we know it all, but you know, that's definitely unacceptable. So, we got the right man on the job though. Better believe it, sir. VTSV Auto. Hey. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da.
Da-da-da.